Hi guys, my name is Sipho Nazim Kwanazi. So today I'm going to share with you 6 steps of how you can become an investor in 2024, of course, in South Africa. So without wasting any time, just know this is not financial advice. If you're looking for financial advice, you can speak to your banker or your financial advisor, etc., etc. So without wasting any time, step number 1, decide on your investment goals. Deciding on your investment goals just mean that you just need to know what are you actually investing for? What type of properties do you want to invest in? So you could decide maybe you want to do residential properties, you want to do commercial properties, and the location as well. It's very important that you take your time and you research which type of locations that you like to invest in. It could be like in the inner cities or maybe in the townships. Because what I've noticed as well, there's a lot of demand in the townships now, especially for residential, like small rooms and stuff like that. Hence, we have products like Umastandi, of which is something that I'll share with you as we go along with the content. So, township has got a lot of demand also. Or you wanna invest maybe in some residential areas, you do back rooms, or you wanna do complexes, townhouses, or you are more into like commercial, maybe your petrol stations, office blocks. The list is actually endless. So it's actually up to you to decide which area that you wanna participate in. Because there are also areas like student accommodation, of which you can actually make lots of money. So each and every area has got its own pros and cons, but it's just up to you to decide. And then as we go along, I'll be breaking down each and every aspect or each and every industry of real estate. So you can also just let me know if you need more clarity on certain spaces within the property space. And then number 2, you need to select your investment vehicles. Selecting your investment vehicles means that, let's say now you have bought a property, or you've bought some properties, and you're making money out of your properties, right? And remember another thing, with property, once you start making money, doesn't mean that you now you start balling, usuyabukisa ebantwini. uh, as you start making money, you need to decide which investment vehicles are you going to participate in. Investment vehicles just means ukuthi you will decide with the income, or a portion of the income that you're making from your properties, you're going to invest that money on other vehicles, meaning you buy maybe stocks, or you buy mutual bonds, all of those things. Let me just read to you what does like investment vehicles mean. So an investment vehicle refers to any method by which an individual or businesses can invest and ideally grow their money. These could be stocks, like stock options, certificates of deposits, bonds. You could buy art. The list is quite endless, but hence I'm saying, once you are at that stage as well, when you are ready to multiply your money, speak to a financial advisor, then they'll be able to assist you with that. Okay, so number 3, know how much you want to invest. So sometimes it's a waste of time when you are looking for properties and you are not actually sure how much you want to invest. So knowing how much you want to invest also is not enough, because what you need to know is how much do you qualify for, how much money do you actually have, and how are you going to actually invest, or how much money that you've qualified for. Maybe is it a bond or cash, any other type of financing. So all of those things are very, very much important to know. So knowing how much you want to invest starts from knowing how much money do you actually have. Do you have 1 million? Do you have 10 million? Do you have 4 million? Even 500,000 rand, I mean, it's also something, right? So it just depends. Remember, with property, you can start from any amount, and then there are other like investment sort of like channels, like financing channels that you can explore. And if you want to know more about that, you can also, inbox me directly, and then I can be able to assist you. Or you can also speak to your financial advisor about that. Okay. So number 4, measure your risk tolerance. Measuring your risk tolerance is also knowing, before buying any property, you need to measure how much is it gonna bring for you. Okay, I've seen a lot of investors, especially the ones that are still starting off. They make some mistakes. They buy properties which are overpriced. They buy properties of which the financials are not making sense. Sometimes financials can be inflated, because sometimes when sellers really want to get rid of a property, they will tell you this property is making this much a month and whatnot, and they cook financials, and then you find that you don't do a proper due diligence, right? And then you find that you are actually buying something that is already putting you at a loss. From the time that you are signing that offer to purchase, already you are at a negative, and you find that it doesn't matter what you do, you can never ever get your money back. Like, you can never, maybe it will take you 50 years for you to actually even break even, because you would have bought that property at a very, very high price. So doing your due diligence is very important, making sure what the numbers of the property adds up. Okay. So people like me can actually advise you if you're looking to buy any properties. Let's say maybe you're buying a bed and breakfast, you're buying a hotel, you're buying student accommodation, or you're buying just like private student accommodation. Maybe it's a 10-bedroom house, somewhere in Musgrave, somewhere in Berea, or wherever, right? Maybe it's a 10-bedroom, and then the owner is telling you, no, this property is giving me 100,000. It sleeps 50 people, whatever. The numbers need to make sense. Number 2, from that, after the numbers need to make sense, you need to know what are the rates of the property, right? What are the rates? You need to check that as well. Very important. And then another thing, before buying a property, it's very important to request for plans of the property, because you find that you buy a property, it was partitioned unlawfully, so you could actually get in trouble for that. So you need to make sure as you buy it, it corresponds with the plans, because now if it doesn't correspond, meaning that you can actually have power to negotiate with the seller and say, okay, I see what you've made some modifications here, and these are not past plans. So therefore, it's going to cost me certain amount of time and money for me to sort out these things. I'm a plan. So meaning that I need to cut down on the price a bit. I hope you find that helpful. Okay, let's go to number 5. Number 5, consider what type of investor you want to be. So considering what type of investor you want to be, I think will be determined by your start, by your beginning. Okay. Sometimes you can start small. For example, Kala Mastandi from Ekasi, you have back rooms and stuff like that, and then you start, increasing your portfolio Ekasi, and then you're growing more into the city. So you'll be more of a residential person. Maybe after a few years you wanna decide to go into commercial properties, which is mhlawumbe small complexes ekasi, complexes, shops and stuff like that. So it's just up to you, it's just up to your appetite. And what I've noticed is that some companies would start from residential, or maybe they start with student accommodation. So after they work that, and then they're like, okay, they changed their strategy. They're like, okay, now we are not gonna be doing student accommodation. We are no longer buying student accommodation. We are now buying complexes or shopping malls. Then you do that. After a certain time, you're like, okay, now we are buying residential blocks. It just depends. Or we are buying land. Strictly, we buy land and we develop. So all the strategies, like, they are different. Other investors, what they do, they only buy like fixed upper properties. fix up properties, it just means that you buy a house that is dilapidated, umuzi ongekho right nje, like at the very low price. You buy it, you fix it up, and then you sell it at a higher price. So other ones are just doing like that, like they just buy anything that's broken, anything that's like very bad, they buy it like very cheap, and then they sell it at the higher price. So options are quite limited. All right, now to the last one, number 6, always evaluate your portfolio. So it's important that as you are going into your journey, doesn't matter how far you are within your journey, evaluation is always important. You always need to evaluate, is your current strategy, your company strategy, or your individual strategy, is it still profitable for you, or it's not working? Sometimes it happens that you are doing fix uppers, right? You are buying properties and you're fixing them, and but you are actually losing money than gaining it, mhlambe from construction costs, right? So it means that you need to evaluate and say, okay, no, I'm no longer going to be doing this fixing thing. I'm just going to buy property pelele that brings income. You know what I'm saying? Or you are into student accommodation and then you are noticing what, no, sometimes I'm having trouble with these contracts. Maybe it's, every time when I have to renew a contract, I'm a comrade lapana, your brothers, they're giving you challenges, or I'm a scam walapho and whatnot. Then you see, okay, maybe student accommodation is no longer my thing, because with student accommodation you need to have Wi-Fi run proper, you need to have beds that are at a good standard, laundry, what. And most students, sometimes they destroy things, sometimes another investor was just telling me that they've got a storeroom full of shower heads, because these students would break, so every now and then they need to replace those. Could be the oven, they like bang the doors of the micro oven. And other students, you can't blame them, because this is South Africa, and then some of the people, they come from disadvantaged backgrounds. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not judging or anything like that. I'm not better. I'm not from a rich whatever as well. So I understand very well. You find that it's their first time for them to actually be using these things. Hence, you find that breaking stuff, it becomes a challenge. So if you're into student accommodation as well, um, you'll need to know what type of taps are you buying, what type of uh, you know utensils or equipment or whatever, something that will not break easily. I think it's very important, especially when it comes to taps, something that will not break easily, because sometimes you buy these cheap things, they'll always be breaking every now and then, and you'll always be replacing, and that's how you lose your money. So anyway, that's it from me. Just remember these steps, and if you're looking for any more tips when it comes to real estate, just let me know, and then I could be able to share the information with you. Thanks.